Not to mention the rainforest
Did we give it air conditioning? It feels like we gave it air conditioning. This weakness, it feels like we air conditioned the rainforest.
I'm assuming there's a slight more breeze with every tree that we knock down, less
Yeah,
obstruction.
well, that's why it's getting weak. You see,
they get the cross breeze now. They get the cross breeze.
Yeah,
just like my mom always used to say, open windows on opposite side of the house. You get the cross breeze. If you deforest from both sides, you're just doing everyone a favor.
You breed weakness. Air conditioning and cross breeze breeds weakness. You got to be resilient. I don't know. I don't know if society will ever learn. I don't know.
So I was going to say the rainforest is another carbon sink, things that capture carbon for us. And if we lose more trees and soil, we're releasing and no longer capturing billions of tons of CO2, right? So now we've kind of covered some of these biomes and ecosystems, but what's it actually doing to our wildlife? Now, this is an expansive topic, and I'm not going to go through it in any detail. There are tons of documentaries, much cooler, that you can go and watch and, see the animals before they're all dead. But in brief, I'll represent a little bit of everything here. So one thing is it's bringing back things that we might not want. Antoine alluded to it. A roundworm found in Siberian permafrost was reanimated after 46,000 years, the time of the woolly mammoths, and began reproducing more than 100 generations of new worms. And all it took was a little bit of food, a little bit of water to get that little thing moving again. It didn't take much, people. They thawed, they ate, they reproduced, and now they're back.
The story is only interesting if the cover story is that it reproduced, but really what happened is it entered the scientist that discovered it, alien style, reproduced within its body, and right now we're struggling to keep it contained, but we just had to give out a nice, one of those hallmark cover stories to not have everyone fear for their lives at the start of the zombie apocalypse. Well, it is creepy. It is a creepy, I get it from a scientific standpoint. It is really intriguing, but as a human, it is incredibly creepy to think that something that old. I mean, part of me wants. Imagine if you could. Of course, it can't think, but imagine if you could. Not that I can't think, but I mean, what I'm saying. Imagine if you could project what it saw 46,000 years ago onto a screen. How cool would that be to be able to see the Earth at that time through a living object that was around at that time? I mean, how cool is that? That's a cool story.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
The issue
it didn't come alive and kill you.
See, the thing is, going back to how these things usually work, because people will be like, it's a natural cycle, and not talk about the rate. That's what you will always hear. It's not that it wouldn't happen again. It's the rate. And something like the permafrost would take thousands and thousands of years, if not more, to transition. And it is happening at record lightning speed with us. So when you're talking about, a little bit of permafrost melting there, a little bit here, and gradually these things will become unearthed, and whether they reanimate or not is a different story. But we're going to get them all at once. And I just don't know what that does. I mean, your own scientists are only finding what they're looking for or where they are. This stuff's melting all over the place, people. You don't know what's being unleashed. And that's my next point. In Tibetan permafrost that's now melting, ancient 15,000-year-old viruses have now been uncovered, never seen before. They're back. They're back. And again, that's only because we found it. God knows what else is being released, entered into animals, and then someday spread to us. Now, the scientists think that it's going to be helpful, just like I'm sure the worm is. They're going to learn how we might be able to survive climate change by how this thing managed to survive. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the jury's out with what else is going to happen. I mean, what is it? The road to hell is paved with good intentions, or something like that. What? I'm not diminishing science. I love science, but this is what they have their hands on. Great, work with that. I'm worried about everything else that's being released that we can't possibly contain. We don't know what else is being unleashed into the wild right now.
I mean, we make a massive assumption because we as human beings, we always assume the worst. That's part of our survival instinct. But at the end of the day, a virus that existed 15,000 years ago, it could be weak sauce. We could come up. It could come into the world today.
Animals were puny back then, and what did they? What kind of resilience did they have?
Yeah, these are things we assume.
They only walked around for 65 million years. What did they know?
We assumed that everything was stronger. Again, we don't know. A saber-tooth tiger could come alive today, and its bones could be so fragile. It's just like
Yeah, that
we
makes
don't
sense.
know. We
That
don't
makes sense.
know.
You
We
don't
don't
know.
know.
It
We could be
reminds me of
surprised.
where that guy, Galaxy Quest, the extra guy. I think his name is Guy,
Yeah, it's
and
Guy. Well,
he
it's
was
not
like, "You."
really.
And
Yeah.
one of his lines is like, "You don't know. You
Yeah.
don't know."
You say we don't know. We don't know. These things look majestic, and then they could die off of it at the first sneeze that they come across, and then just
I'm sure
drop dead.
that's
We're not
yeah.
sure.
I actually think the whole asteroid thing is being contested now because they just think it was a strong gust.